Due to suggestive adult themes and dialogue, this podcast is intended for adults. In other words, the truth is ugly, so we get ugly right along with it. Everything we say is out of love for ourselves, our people, and our community. Sincerely, the Green Route Podcast.
And stop the damn dancing. Act like you got some goddamn sense, people.
Black people don't hope, we wish. We wish a motherfucker would be in our shit.
As far as I'm concerned, they could burn this bitch to the ground. And it still wouldn't be enough. And they are lucky that what black people are looking for is equality and not revenge.
Want to welcome y'all to the Green Route Podcast, episode number 29. I am GS.
And I am Marlissa. What's up, y'all? Welcome back.
All right, y'all. So we back for the end of the 9/9/2022, going into 23.
That's crazy.
Going into 23. The Jordan year of the 2000s is coming up.
Touche. Every time you say 23, I forget about that. But
everybody got to be their greatest
That's
this
right.
coming up year.
That's right.
Everybody got to be their greatest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Leave those distractions alone. Leave that woman alone.
Leave them alone. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
All right, y'all. So we're going to get right into it. The Netherlands apologizes to the African diaspora. African diaspora.
That's
forgive me. But is it enough? That is the real question.
Yeah.
So what happened was on Twitter when the leader of the Netherlands, I don't know if they have a president, prime minister. I didn't look too much into their leadership, but I looked into a little bit more of the details concerning what they did. And of course, they were one of the worst offenders of human trafficking during the slave trade. The Dutch. There's a lot. The real conversation, reparations.
Yeah.
African countries calling for reparations right now. Is it long overdue? Is it gonna happen? What are they doing? What are these European countries doing by just apologizing? Are they actually willing to put money behind it? Are they willing to put anything behind what they're saying? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, so it's one thing to apologize because it's the wave right now. Since Black Lives Matter movement started, we have seen more countries come out and say, oh, we were a part of this, our bad. But the problem is, you can apologize and not change your behavior going forward. And what does that apology really mean? So when you told me about this topic, I looked into it, and Denmark, the Netherlands played a decent role. They had about 5% of all the Atlantic slave trade going there, but then they also had people who may have been a little ethnically different enslaved in their lower countries. And so, we know about the 500,000 that were part of the Atlantic slave trade, but there's a whole nother population of folks kind of there who were also enslaved in the lower country. So one of the things they talked about was, it's great that you apologize, but there's still consequences that these people are dealing with from being enslaved. Poverty, health disparities, illiteracy. Like, there are so many things going on. And instead of saying, okay, we're going to put money towards righting some of the wrongs that we created through slavery, instead these people are saying, I'm going to put $200 billion to educate the country about our role in slavery, and then another $12 million to build a museum for the fuck? Why would I want a museum? Give me the $12 million so I can go educate my people, so that I can go build some decent housing. So they've done everything except what these people need.
Oh no, absolutely. First of all, I 100% agree with that. For people who don't know, they had put together a national a monument that kind of acknowledges it. And I don't know how much money they spent towards it, but it just goes to show that they're no different from a lot of their counterparts, even over here in the West.
Their cousins over here the same.
It's like, we don't care for the lip service. What you're doing clearly is just using the funds to redirect it back towards you. It's like the Karen who cries wolf And then when the police get there, after they beat down whoever this person is accusing, they come back and then they tell the white woman, you know what, you still deserve an honorary freedom medal because of your patriotism. Like, yes, the cops might have gotten in trouble for beating that kid up, but you deserve something. Like, no, this is not a time for self-rewarding. This is not a time for us to use our money to give back to ourselves.
That's right.
As Danish people, that's not, again, that's no different than a lot of countries. But it just, to me, it goes to show the bigger picture, which is one or two things: either militarily, Africa, or just black people around the world. We don't have the military might to make them do right, and or it's either we don't have to make them do the right thing, or well, actually, it's more so connected to we don't have whatever it is we don't have to make them do what's right. Whether it's the money, the respect, the military power, it's something that has to be there to make them respect and want to do right by us.
Well, and even then that would be empty, because that would be fear rather than respect. Like, I genuinely just don't think it's in them to have respect for us, period. But you're right, military might would definitely instill some fear that says, well, at least let's not fuck with these people.
Let me fix my quote. Fix what I said. It's either military, because you said something made me think about it. We don't have the military might to make them do it, or we don't have the resources to make them respect us enough. Because again, if we held our mines and kept them from mining the gold and the diamonds and stuff, we had really like authority and power over it, and we could stop it, then I'm pretty sure they'd be like, oh, we'll issue more than an apology, right? Because we want to make more money off y'all. So
and sadly, I still, it's not even sincere even then, right? It's like I still want something from you.
It'll never be sincere, but that's it, y'all. So hopefully, my prayer is that they get everything they need. That's my prayer. I hope that they get everything they need and more. And again, it's more than just money. There's more that's owed.
All right. So next topic, and I know this is a big one amongst the people and just America, period. But Deion Sanders leaving Jackson State. GS's title here is Deion leaves HBCU for that white girl. So, okay, I'll give my take. It has not changed, so I'm interested in if your argument will, number one, be different, but change my stance on it. So, when Deion took over, I was excited because I was like, shit, this is what we've been talking about. Like, this has been ideal for a lot of us who wanted to see our children funneled into our universities using their talent that way. And when you really pay attention to how much money is made on the backs of these kids and like how much really they don't get from putting their bodies on the line, I was like, well, at least if they go to an HBCU, there's a sense of community there, there's a sense of care, there's a sense of self that they find in that place. And in my head, I was like, we just got to get the right set of kids in there, the right coaches, and the cameras, the money will follow. Like we know that's how it goes. Follow the talent. Yes, absolutely. Where the talent is, that's where the cameras will be. So when he took over, I was like, shit, he's on board. This is the plan, right? Like, but everybody with any bit of sense knew that you had to stay and really plant that seed and water it and watch it blossom. And it was starting with Jackson State. So I'm like, cool. He'd been there 2-3 years. Great. This is like a 10-year plan in my head. In my head, because you're starting to funnel the next best recruits in there, the next coaches, all of that. So when I found out he was leaving, I was like, wait, hold on. You fucked up the 10-year plan. And everybody was like, well, he wasn't getting his money. But again, he said he wasn't there for the money. He said that this was his calling and he had been anointed and God had called him to do this. So to all of a sudden say it was about the money.
Now to say it's about the money.
All of a sudden it ain't about God no more.
It was God.
It's the money now. Like, I was really disappointed. And then I had people who was like, well, you can't put all that on one person, to make a change. I'm like, we didn't do it. He said that this is what he was coming here to do. And did we buy the dream? Absolutely. Did I love to see those boys getting everything that they deserve?
Every Jackson State media that's out there. I'm watching the games. Look, like, I'm alumni.
I went to PWIs and I was like, Jackson State game. Gotta watch it.
Gotta check it out.
So yes, I was disappointed, and I think this sets a dangerous precedent that says, hey, when black people start building something and when it's going really well, we can go pay these Negroes to get them out of where they are. I mean, they just didn't burn it down.
Right,
but they
right.
did.
Right.
So, my opinion, I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Okay, so there's a lot to this. Two things for sure I got out of this was one, for sure I agree with you. I think that when we talk as a group, as a people, as a community, we have to understand that, like, in order to really affect change, it has to be a long-term process, especially with something with like HBCUs. Like, it's a long-term thing. This is not nothing you go in and bam, 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 and then it's better. Da da da. Like, no, it's just it doesn't work like that.
It didn't get bad overnight, so we can't fix it overnight.
We can't fix it overnight. I mean, you. So there's that part. So that's my issue with Deion and him making it seem as though, you know, this is something bigger than money. This is something bigger than opportunity. This is something. This is something that I need to do. I mean, so I get how he made people feel. My other part about it, there was a conversation that happened on Drink Champs when they were basically, it's like, you can't be come out kind of as like a revolutionary, talking his God talking his and then be a capitalist. You can't. It just both of them cannot.
Mic drop.
Cannot intermix.
Yes.
But on
you
the other
could have
side,
been a capitalist though. Had you stayed and played the long game, because the money and the cameras would have come. He still could have played that role. He just took it now. Right.
So this is the other side of it. Now, this is why I got my little time, but I'm glad we get a chance to disagree a little bit. The only reason why I kind of disagree with it is because I personally believe that I think that sometimes we have the wrong idea about people who lead or people who are leaders. Or who I think that there are some people who commit for a lifetime, and those are people that we respect. The Malcolms, the Martins, they figured out that fighting for our people is what they need to do, and they'll lose their life doing it. Absolutely. The thing about it is the situation that we've been in has forced them to be like that. Has forced them to be like that. We're not in that situation in that same way in terms of how Deion is. How Deion is. Deion is not Martin or Malcolm. Deion is not that.
But he could have been a football.
He could have been a football god. Well, he's already, of course, top 3 athletes, football for sure, top, if not the best football athlete in the world.
I'm saying he could have been the revolutionary of this space.
Could have been. Could have revolutionized, like the same way that the Olympians did. Carlos and a lot of other people, like Muhammad Ali, for sure, absolutely. But the thing about it is, to have that expectation for people who come from that background is very much so. It's hard. I think the reason why, again, I'm not 100% faulting him to is for 2 reasons. One, I think that if you are a capitalist, if money is your thing, it will just continue to be your thing. And truth be told, he never really gave us too much to consider him outside of a capitalist. I mean, he went out of his way in a sense to again, go be at Jackson State. But let's not forget, he was one of the people who kind of was against Colin Kaepernick kneeling. He did make a statement about that being not for it. He didn't necessarily shit on Kaepernick, but he definitely didn't come out and support. So my thing is, it's one of those things where we just kind of have to read the writings on the wall and accept that that's how people are. If anything, my hope would be that somebody. By him opening the door, I'd hope that someone would just come in and just kind of carry the mantle and keep it going and be like, look, the fault that we found in Deion, you won't find it in me, because I'm actually in here. I'm SWAC for real. So
he had the band spelling out SWAC and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, bruh. Now I'm looking back, I'm like, yeah, maybe the coach was right.
You sold us a dream. You sold us
SWAC. So I guess my point, and it's only just to have a difference in opinion you on this, but for the most part, I think that what he potentially could have done would have outweighed all of it. Cemented the legacy.
100%. I think had he waited, and I get it, we're a society that likes our gratification right now, like we want the right now, but I guess that's why I was so hopeful that he saw beyond like the first few years. And the thing is, like, look at what you were able to accomplish just in the first few years, and how many younger athletes were going and saying, yeah, I want to play for him, or I want to play for...
Well, I mean, the other part about it too is this. I mean, you have both of your sons playing for you, and kind of what he's always been doing, and this is one thing I can for sure say he's consistently done, is be there for his sons, specifically his sons who play football. Yeah, for sure. And it's like he's been there, Prime Prep here in Dallas. Had them at Prime Prep, coached them in high school. Like, he just been there every step of the way. So it's just like, you have the opportunity to go to Colorado, make a lot of money, and then put your children in a potentially really good situation in terms of like being looked at as a prospect for the NFL, going to a Division I school and all that. And I'm gonna be honest, if my child's dream is to be something or do something or go somewhere, I'm not gonna say I won't do everything in my power to put them in that position to do that. The end goal might be kind of like on some shit like, oh, it's football, so it's, you can put them in the NFL. But for me, you can look at me crazy, but for him, for someone who's benefited so much from being a part of the NFL and, Hall of Famer and all that, like, it makes sense.
I'm gonna say, I have to give homage to my mother, who kept me at Crenshaw High, even though every other school was trying to pull me to be in there gifted and all this. She kept me at Crenshaw on purpose because she said, "Why would I take their best and brightest and put them on the West Side when she can be a Crenshaw alumni and who knows what will come from that?"
Right.
And so even when you made that point, I hear you. I think most regular parents. But Deborah Huey was like, no, you're staying right here with your cohort in this neighborhood because they come and pluck our best and brightest. And
valid. Very valid. Very valid.
I just wanted to give homage to that woman.
Because you see how that mentality is in that sense. It
could have been a sacrifice. It turned out to be a good thing. And I know she understood that. Like, she had to weigh that.
Right.
So yeah. I hear you, but I was the product of something completely opposite.
That makes absolute sense because there is a brain drain in the black community, and we just talked about the Netherlands.
You come get our best, and then what happens to the rest of our kids? They suffer.
Exactly.
So
you're not wrong. Okay, $1.7 trillion spending bill. 50% goes to defense, and a part of this is going to Ukraine, right?
That's right, about $45 billion of it.
About $45 billion. Yet another $45 billion. I feel like we keep having this every time. Like, we paying too much attention now to how much money is going out now, and so with this latest thing, Zelensky came over here, and he knew he had to.
Yep.
He was like, look, I gotta be in their face.
Yeah. When
I ask for this money, they need to see.
He was dressed humbly. You see what he wore?
He was very humble. He's like, look, y'all got the juice.
Yeah.
And truth be told, right now, the real question that's coming out from my mind, because as much as people wanted to give Trump hell for the quid pro quo shit, that's how politics work. Yeah. Especially world politics. It's like, yes, we can give you whatever, but what you gonna give us?
This is what I need from you.
So my thing is, I'm like, what is the United States standing to benefit outside of our gun makers, our Boeings, and all of our machine weaponry, the war machine itself, outside of that making so much money? What is the real benefit? What are we gonna get from that? And I'm not saying that to be it's a specific word I'm thinking about. I'm saying, like, I'm just saying, I just know for a fact that America will get something from giving them so much.
100%. I think part of what we're getting right now is that we're at war with Russia without being at war with Russia.
So basically, it's a third party.
It's a proxy war.
Yeah. Yep. Which America has become good at.
It's like getting your little cousin to go fight the big homie up the street. I give you a peanut butter sandwich if you go slap him real quick. We really are at war with Russia, which, I mean, honestly, is why we are front and center at NATO during every conversation when it comes to Russia and what's going on in Ukraine. And so when I looked at this, I think the total amount is $858 billion for defense. Billion, which is 10% more than we spent last year. And what's crazy is we're not supposed to be at war right now as a country. The only time we really ever spend that much money is when we're officially at war. So Afghanistan, like before that. So right now, I'm like, okay, we just what we spending this money for? And I genuinely believe, and this is just my opinion, like, America has to spend this money. The U.S. has to spend this money because we run around the world starting shit all day long. But if you have an $858 billion army, who gonna check you? who gonna really play with you?
I'm trying to understand why the war isn't over after giving them $858 billion. Like, I think there was like a Twitter poll that came out. It was like, are you for giving them money, or are you for stopping
Ukraine?
it altogether? Yeah,
Okay.
all that, giving them money, stopping it altogether, or just enough to end it. And I think the majority of the people said we want to give him whatever he needs to end it now, ASAP. And it's like,
to end the war.
End the war. Like, they want to give him. They're like. There are people who said, we'll give him whatever we need. The poll was, it was 3 responses. Either you can say, give him whatever he needs as long as he needs. The other one was, give him enough to end this thing.
Meaning blow Russia off the face of the earth. What are we talking about?
Exactly.
Okay,
that part is open for interpretation. That part is open for interpretation.
Because that sounds like nuclear
some shit.
war to me.
And the other one was just stop altogether. So
stop funding.
Yeah, stop funding it all.
Okay.
Stop funding it altogether. And it's just like the other part about it is too, like, I feel like I should be hearing more from like Republicans being like, some of them are abstaining from contributing to them, but I feel like I should hear more from them, considering this reckless spending and this and that. And they're like, it's like you just not really getting that.
Yep.
It's an interesting thing, because again, we're gonna always keep referring to what's happening in Jackson with the water. We're gonna always keep talking about how we have all these people who are in crippling debt because they have college loans that they have to pay off.
The homelessness
homeless population that's going crazy in California. It's going crazy everywhere.
But Cali is crazy.
Cali is crazy. New York, what's happening in New York? We have a mayor who's been about facing a lot of shit, specifically with homelessness. Like, it's a lot of homegrown stuff that needs to be taken care of. And again, every time we see money go out towards someone else, again, we're not against anyone, needing help for their war. We're not fighting for their own freedom. We're not against that. We want you to win. If you are dealing with an oppressive regime, a tyrannical dictator, we wish you the best. We want you to get support. We want you to get money. We don't want anybody dealing with that. But at the same time, it's just like, as black people, we kind of always have another lens on top of that.
What we could do with that money.
What could be done with this money, and how, again, we have all these issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
We still have people who work as lunch ladies serving food on the weekends for free, coming out of money in their own pocket.
90% of teachers buy their student supplies out of pocket.
You
Think about that. And one that got me, that was in the spending bill, and real quick, y'all, is billions of dollars going to support Americans that are going to be impacted by natural disasters.
Right.
Tens of billions of dollars were set aside in this spending package. Guess how much they set aside for environmental programs to combat climate change?
How much?
$500 million.
Just half?
So instead of saying, hey, let's get to the root cause here, like let's get to the thing that is fueling the increase in natural disasters, we're just gonna give y'all some shit on the back end, so I can keep drilling, so that I can keep pulling shit out of the ground.
We'll invest in a million mops to mop it up. But we won't buy that one little screw that'll just stop it. We ain't gonna. Perfect analogy.
Ain't
that some shit?
And there were several different contradictions like that in this bill, where you're like, why don't we just invest in like anti-poverty programs instead of giving every parent $40 per child every month for groceries in the summer? Like, give people pay raises.
My very last point to this, my very last point. There are multiple, like, in order for a group, if you see a community or group or see a community or group, racial group that's going through a specific issue, I don't think people realize, like, it's multiple layers to it. Again, if we talk about poverty, we're not just talking about housing, we're talking about health, we're talking about education, we're talking about all these things. So it's just like, y'all keep throwing pennies at just one of those 5 things, when truth be told, all 5 of those things need to be addressed.
Absolutely.
In order for a person to live a happy, healthy life, to pursue any kind of happiness.
And they're all connected.
They're all connected. I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all have been throwing pennies and bananas and little shit at
take this a part
of the problem, but it's not the real issue. So, all right, y'all. Number 4, FTX.
The CEO.
The CEO. Sam Friedman.
Sam Friedman or something. Yeah.
I don't know how I want to say his name like that, but Sam Friedman This guy, so my man ran off on the plug to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Because I guess he was like, well, if my money's safe there, I'm safe there. Yes, the Bahamas is a safe haven for dark money and
they got charges on his ass too.
They did too. They said, you know what?
Nah.
I can't do a Bahamian accent. Shout out to my Bahamian family.
But
I
got nothing.
It was gonna sound Jamaican. It was gonna be worse than that. Oof. But they was like, you cannot stay here. You cannot stay here.
Love y'all.
Peace, brother. Peace.
Yeah, they put them charges on his ass and sent him right to the U.S. But here's what we want to talk about: the fact that he's out of prison. He's out of jail already because his bail was set at $250 million. And he paid it.
Who? Where's this money? I thought he was broke.
I thought so too.
What the fuck? All right.
So yeah, that goes to show privilege. Number one, he is going to be under house arrest at his parents' home in California. Very comfortable, I'm sure. I'm certain.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable. He's like a Stanford kid, so I'm pretty sure
Why you sending them back to his parents? They the ones who made him that way.
I'm just saying.
Y'all want to put him back into the environment that cultivated that mind.
This fuckery. That's right.
That's okay though. I guess he got to go somewhere.
Yeah. Well, yeah. He got to go.
He got to go somewhere.
He can't go back to his house in the Bahamas. So the other thing I want to talk about, and you know, stick with me here. So the Illinois bail reform bill, right? I think we talked about this on a show maybe a couple months ago. And the reason we talked about it was because it was a whole bunch of Negroes running around calling this bill the Purge Law. Now, I'm not sure if people had never seen the movie The Purge, but the law has literally nothing to do with the plot of that movie.
It's not.
What it is saying, hey, for certain crimes, specifically non-violent crimes, the judge can say, hey, I'm going to grant you your freedom while you await trial. This allows you to keep your job.
Right.
Think about how much people lose when they go into jail and they don't have bail or they can't make bail.
They can't make bail, yeah.
Mama don't have her house to put up. The family can't scrap up the money, whatever. So you have so many people. This happened to my uncle who lose so much overnight in a matter of days because you go missing from that job. All of a sudden you're missing from your home. Like, think about the psychological damage that does to your children who you're absent from all of a sudden, your partner who you're absent from. So this law allows people to be out on their own recognizance while they await trial. Now, if they commit a crime that's bad enough, right, where the judge is like, nah, that was violent, or you're a flight risk,
we can revoke it.
Yes, the judge still can say, hey, either I'm no bail at all, or I'm going to set it, super high, right? So I actually think it's a great thing. It creates some equity because
it absolutely is. I think, again, that I hate that calling it the Purge Law was just one of those things that for sure a lot of conservatives wanted to add a scare tactic to it. Because, again, at the heart of a lot of these lawmakers, there's racism, there's sexism, misogyny, homophobia, all of that. And anything that goes against any of those marginalized groups that they hate, anything that goes against making it easier for them, anything that goes against making it harder for them, they gonna have a problem with it. They gonna figure out how to mischaracterize it again. They did the same thing with CRT.
That's right.
Did the same thing with the word woke. So again, this law was one of those laws that was absolutely necessary, especially in a place like Chicago, to where people aren't willing to acknowledge that black people have been harassed by the police and put in jail over trumped up charges, bullshit charges, and all that. Over policed, and that's the bigger issue. But the other part of it has to do with the fact that rich people don't have to deal with this. It is not the same. It is not the same consequence. Is it really lawful if both of us commit the same crime, and because you have money, you don't have to deal with the same kind of consequences? Is that really fair?
There you go.
Is that really, are the scales really balanced? If all I got to do is pay money, or if I have the ability to pay money to not deal with the consequences of my actions?
The cops aren't even present enough in my neighborhood for me to even get caught. If all the cops are in the black neighborhood, of course there's a bigger chance of Come on, y'all.
So the Purge Law, I'm gonna find the real name of this motherfucking law. But
It's like the Bail Reform
But
Act
the Bail
or something.
Reform Act was absolutely necessary, and we're glad that it happens, and we hope that it spreads everywhere else because, again, it's one of the small things. Because again, the whole judicial system is fucked. It's some bullshit. It's straight bullshit. Like my man Black Thought said in his verse with on the new Black Star album. I love that album. It ain't everywhere because the brothers got it somewhere else. But he said that half the time the law ain't worth more than the paper that it's wrote on. Which is a saying we've heard before, but when he said it in the rap, it just flew. It just slid so good.
But no, that's real.
But that's exactly it. So
that's real. So, I mean, we got people sitting in prison innocent right now who can't make bail, and this man has stolen hundreds of billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars.
And he at his parents' house, super cozy.
Sam Friedman.
Yeah, so.
This nigga tripping.
And stop calling that shit the Purge Law, y'all. Like, that, mind you, always check the sources of the articles you're reading. So, a lot of those articles were actually written by journalists who are pro-police. And I'm not saying we are not pro-police, but I am pro-police reform. 100%.
Well, I'll be honest. I am not pro-police at all.
I'm
think
pro-community
that
policing.
I'm pro. That's a conversation we're gonna have to break down. I'm pro whatever the community needs, and policing just isn't the number one option. It just isn't. Not 2, not 3, not 4. You know, maybe down the line somewhere. Maybe if somebody don't know where to park.
Sometimes street justice is community policing, like that one dude that beat them 2 girls up that night, and we were sharing that video. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Let's get to him before the cops do.
Sometimes you got. Okay. All right, guys.
Anyway.
All right.
So last but not least, and this one should be funny. So Afroman. Because I Got High. That was actually a pretty decent album. You remember it?
I never listened to the whole album.
Yeah.
But I did watch I watched the Vice special on his story, and I thought it was very interesting.
He was from Palmdale, California. So at the time, they was moving a lot of black people out of the Grape Street projects. The Grape Street, Nickerson Gardens, or Jordan Downs, you would call them.
Shout out Watts.
Into Palmdale. So Afroman kind of came to prominence. So he's running for president in 2024, and he has released a policy platform that he would like to run on. Okay, so I'm gonna read these off, and you tell me what you think. So,
read them off.
He has an 8-point platform, y'all. And number 1 is decriminalization of cannabis. Cool with that.
Absolutely.
Criminal justice reform. Yep. Law enforcement reform. Yep. Immediate halt of all foreign aid. Yep. Reparations for African Americans. Yep.
Absolutely.
Promotion of unity, peace, and love. Yep. This is the one I don't understand. Promotion of celebratory displays in professional sports.
All right. That's just the dance that, you know, people do in the end zone when they score a touchdown. Sometimes he probably done had some situations like he don't. I get what he's saying. He's basically talking about like when people do the dance and people do the
But
like,
why is that on your policy platform?
I mean, maybe he a big Raiders fan. I don't know.
It was out of place because number 8 is legalization of prostitution.
Oh, number 8 is legalization.
Yeah, that was number 7. Very random.
Which I agree with too.
100%.
I absolutely agree with. We are pro sex work, and we believe that sex work is just like any other kind of work. As long as it's choice, not forced.
That's right.
Hey, do you make a living for yourself?
I was on the phone with my sister. She said, how they gonna pay taxes? I said, that's the beauty of making it legal. Like, all of a sudden now you can either be a freelancer,
exactly,
or you can work for an agency.
The thing is, you're gonna get pimped by somebody. Goddamn,
you either pimp yourself,
somebody, or
somebody pimps you.
You know, maybe it's gonna fool around and be an app, the biggest app, the app. People gonna okay. That's
somebody out there on TikTok, get on that.
Look, y'all, don't steal my idea. I got an idea that I'll share one day.
So, but it's like find a prostitute or something.
Actually, the idea is for sex workers. So specifically, you can create a profile on this larger database in which the people who choose you, we have a specific profile. The purpose of it would be so that you can go through a full scan of whoever chooses to solicit your services.
Okay.
So that way, in order to make a profile to choose a sex worker, we need to make sure we know your background. We need to know your mental health. We need to know all that. So if you pass all those tests, then you get to be a part of this
Is
platform.
that in-house, or do you vertically integrate with another like background check company, another psychoanalytic
the goal would
company?
be to do that. Yes,
Okay.
the goal would be to do that. So at least we and truth be told, we understand that a lot of people who might want to patronize might have some charges in the past. You can still be a part of it. We just need to know that person who you choose to do who you want to hire for work. She just needs to see your full rap sheet so she can make a choice on whether or not she wants to deal with you.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
You present all information to all interested
if you don't present
parties.
it all, we're gonna dig it all up.
Yeah.
But
I like that.
Yeah,
it creates a safety buffer for sex workers who we know are unprotected. Like,
so TikTok don't steal my idea, but
somebody working on it right now.
Damn.
They've already pulled out their laptop and started calling that shit
I
up.
shouldn't even.
But yeah, so I mean, this. I'm not sure if he's running as an independent. He didn't really say, but yeah, Afroman is running for president, y'all, and again, I think we keep saying it. Like, this is going to be a very interesting election season. It's going to be a lot to watch. So,
well, I mean, we have Biden up for re-election, and truth be told, right now he's looking good. He's looking good from a political, governmental, outside. He's looking decently. I mean, truth be told, it's not really that hard to look good coming after a Trumpian situation.
And with the situation we were in, COVID, inflation,
So truth be told, our real fear just lies in the right.
Yeah.
Finding someone who's just charismatic and lies just enough to be believed by the right en masse. You know what I'm saying? So whoever that's actually like the Democratic side is like, we pretty much know who's gonna get that, but the Republican side is the part where it's kind of a toss up to where it could legitimately be, they could end up with another Trump, because again, everybody was saying Trump wasn't gonna get it last time, and truth be told,
CNN just had to shut down broadcasting.
Exactly. So he could come back and he could be the worser option. I stand by that word because I think it should be a word. He could be, and that could be kind of an easy layup in that sense, in terms of someone who's transparent in their bullshit, or we can get someone who's not so transparent with their bullshit, someone who brings in who really dog whistles perfectly to that white conservative Christian.
The quiet people
that hide that racism just enough. It's not that I don't
they work in your HR department.
It's not that I don't like immigrants. They just need to come the right way.
They're stealing our jobs.
They don't even say stealing. They're a little more safer than that. They just say it needs to be done in the right way.
My family came over.
We can. Oh, let's not get on my conservative Spanish. Some of y'all ain't shit for that. I'm just let y'all know.
Talk about their Irish background.
I was talking about my first generation Hispanic family who are conservative, and
that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic. But I'm gonna go in on y'all motherfucking ass soon, because I'm learning more about
that shit
y'all.
That came out of LA reminded us of what y'all was about.
We gonna get these truths together, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all know. We're gonna get these 21 truths. I don't know how many, but with certain truths we need to kind of remember. And one of those truth number 13
.523
to 0.535 is this. Just because they belong in the POC doesn't mean that they are for me.
And
that was my way to rhyme.
Wonder why we hate POC.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
Just saying. All right, y'all. We're gonna keep it moving. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm swell. I had a good week, productive week. TikTok got us to over 1,000 this week.
Appreciate y'all.
Thank you guys for rocking with our 3-minute real quick explainer videos. We're gonna get GS to do some soon.
I got you. I'm gonna do some explainer videos. Send me. I'm gonna see yours, and I'm gonna redo some stuff.
we
make my own version.
So shout out to y'all for just rocking with it. It means a lot for real, because when you pour your shit out, you open it up for criticism, but y'all have been fucking with it, so appreciate that. But honestly, I forgot it was Christmas on Sunday. because I've been so like heads down, just kind of in that office.
Look, the devil's holiday, the white devil holiday does not miss that pagan shit. I ain't gonna.
Yeah, I went to the liquor store to stock up because I was like, y'all closed tomorrow, right? And she was like, no, we open. I was like, oh, this is Texas. I thought for sure.
Well, that'd be the shit about Texas. We be like on some, we're not honoring Christmas and the Christianity and Christmas. The liquor stores fuck around and be open.
Christmas Eve. She said
Christmas
they were
Eve.
open.
She's like, oh yeah, we full time on this. Places be open. And the thing is, it's like, that's how we be knowing that y'all be full of shit, because capitalism always beats your religiosity part.
Boom.
Y'all be like, we don't observe Christianity and Christmas enough. And then we look on Christmas Day and y'all got motherfucking folks working. And be like,
Friday, I
thought it was Thanksgiving. Y'all ain't shit.
So yeah, it's been good, and I'm trying to think. Sleeping cool. Like I ain't been to the gym a lot this week, so I need to get back on that. But other than that, mental health is good. Just trying to stay warm out here in this 12-degree craziness. So yeah, what about you? How you feeling?
I'm feeling better. I had a weekend. I had a weekend last weekend where I was super busy, and so I had been dealing with a lot emotionally from just like on some personal shit. But I was doing work, like just work in general, but also I was staying active, just kind of keep my mind occupied. But then those few days that followed, I was like really tired, and it just kind of gave me time to just sit down and just like reflect. And then I had to kind of realize, I was like, I'm making progress. Now I'm like, it just like once the dust settled from the weekend, I just was like able to really see. I think that's important. Yeah. So for me, just seeing that I'm making progress and realizing that things are getting I don't want to say things are getting better because things were bad, but it's more like my goal for myself is to run very similarly to like a machine. Of course, I'll never be a machine. I'm a human. But I want to be efficient. I want to wake up at a decent time. I want to go to sleep at a decent time. Yeah. Want to have that consistency. So it's like, I haven't gotten the consistency yet, but I can now see the light at the end of the tunnel. And that's been the most positive thing about this week for sure.
It's interesting that you say that, because like I started this thing where I journal every morning, and I'm up to like 3 pages type, just getting shit out, right? Like, and it's funny because my mind is a lot clearer. But one thing I noticed in one of the morning journal exercises was me talking about writing about how since I've got into a routine, things are like just so much more efficient for me. And what's crazy is, I think like a few paragraphs after that, I've noticed that to keep that routine, I have to make some sacrifices with people hitting me last minute. Yo, you want to come out? You want to? And I'm like, okay, I think that was always the struggle for me. It was like wanting to be all things to all people at all times, but having this goal for this show and like where we're going, I'm like, you can't be all things to all people at all times, because that routine is what's getting the growth. The routine is what's like starting that.
The epiphany that I recently had more to do. I've been, I'm real big on like self-help. So I'll be watching, like, I be thinking it's corny, but I'll be like, it's actually really good. Okay. Like, I'll be kind of ashamed. I'll be watching it because they be like, you can do it. It'd be like motivational and and I'll be like, oh, this is so corny. But it's the information is so good. Yeah. But one thing I learned, it was just one guy was just talking about how like, hey, don't go for goals, go for systems. Because truth be told, the thing that's keeping you from reaching your goals, you don't have any systems in place to maintain that consistency. Yep. The system in place to get that task done faster. And it's just like, that's actually what I need, because I know I'm a routine person. Like, I need systems set up to where I can complete things and get things done more efficiently. So my focus has been looking for books, readings on systems, and it's not a lot of them. It's like systems in regards to like business, which I'm gonna probably eventually read, but they're just not a lot of like personal life systems about how to set your routine, how to and it makes it even harder when you're neurodivergent, which both of us are. And I'm like, so it's easy to see the squirrel over there and spend an hour looking at the fucking squirrel. Yeah, hell yeah.
You lose an hour.
Look, I have realized that procrastination, I mean, they say procrastination is just, they used to say, let me say that, they used to say procrastination is the inability to deal with discomfort or uncomfortable feelings. And it's just like, yes, to a certain extent, yes. But then also, it's more than that in my mind. It's more like a lot of times you procrastinate. There's certain things that you don't want to do because one, you're just not in that mode. Some of us just operate differently.
Yeah.
Like we have to be in a mode. There have to be certain conditions that are set up in which we can complete things or do things efficiently.
But hence the system, right? You just said
we don't have the system.
Yep. You said conditions have to be set to get into that mode.
Exactly. So if you don't have the system to consistently create the conditions for you to do what you need to do, then you will always be falling short. And I'm at the point to where like I'm tired of falling short in multiple areas.
That's right.
I think I just know I can be better. Like I know I can wake up at a decent time consistently. I know I can wake up and I know I can get a good night's rest consistently. I know I can. It's possible now. Like I know I can have X amount of money in my bank account. I know these things. It's just a matter of, okay, let's set it up to get the shit out the way. Let's get to it.
I love it, man. Well, obviously we're in tune because I've been thinking about some of the same stuff. Like it's really crazy, and I've made up in my mind like, yeah, like this is worth the sacrifice. Like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I've never felt more at home than what we're doing right now, and so
that's real.
I'm like, hey, if it means keeping it to this show and the family and whoever my partner is, I'm cool with that.
Right.
Like I'm good with it for a while, right? And I think that's the sacrifice that people make up front so that later on, once they get to wherever that vision is taking them, you are able to help other people who probably want your help right now, but you can't do much for them if you're not at 100%. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, one of my daily mantras is it's legitimately, I will not take on other people's problems, especially for people who are doing better than me. Especially part is
unwilling
important.
to reciprocate too.
You know what? I didn't even go that far, but you're right about that part too. Like if I even feel like you're not gonna reciprocate or you're not gonna give it back, I'm more inclined to say no.
I ain't got it right now.
I just know for sure that I just cannot take on any more people's problems.
I'm all out of fucks.
I'm all out. Not fucks. See, this is why it's my partner, because we're thinking about the same thing in the same way, but we're thinking about the same thing, but just in different ways. Yeah. So you out of fucks to give. I just can't give it. I just don't have the heart. I just don't have
them, but I gotta keep them for myself.
We'll keep all the fucks. All right. On that note, we're gonna close it out.
Hold on. What you listening to this week? What you listening to?
Oh yes. Okay. So there's a song by Salt, and if you know the end of our it's like a version of one of his songs. So he has another song called Envious.
Okay.
Actually, truth be told, there's a playlist on Spotify called Soul Lounge. And so on Soul Lounge, there are some tracks. Don't get me wrong, for sure, the majority of tracks that you get on those playlists, you like, I ain't really fucking with. Yeah. For sure. But this one has more than normal. So you might not, for me, I might not fuck with the majority of it. But if you hitting like 40% in terms of that playlist, 30%. Okay. Of a playlist created by someone else, a curated playlist, you're doing something good to me. Okay. So Soul, and this is me as a DJ.
By the way, DJ GS, we're gonna be putting out some playlists for y'all. That's why we talk about listen to this track under this video, because we're both music heads. He's the DJ.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. Okay. So
what about you? What you listen to? What you jamming?
This week I've honestly been just in a lo-fi vibe because I've just been creating videos for TikTok and like doing like chopping up clips, so that stuff is just easier for me to focus. I looked it up why lo-fi is good for focus, and it's the consistent like boom clap like beat just kind of puts your mind in a space where it doesn't have to like think too hard or take up too much mental capacity to like break down what it's hearing. So I was like, okay, that's why lo-fi is really great when you need to write or you need to focus on
low frequency.
Yes. Yep.
So
exactly.
Higher frequency kind of requires a different kind or heightened.
So it just clears up more of your mental capacity, so you don't have to think too much about what you're hearing. You can focus on the task at hand. So yeah, I've been in that space. I haven't really listened. You know what I did see, y'all, on TikTok, there is this video of Kiara Sheard, if you a church kid like I am, singing at the Kojic AIM convention. And when I tell you she embodied all her aunties and her mama in one, like
Kiara Sheard, okay.
She like transformed into all of them in a matter of 3 minutes.
Shout out to the Clark sisters, her mama and her aunties. You know what I'm saying? It's a legacy.
Yeah, I think Dorinda is still the minister of music for the Kojic Church, but for like the National Kojic Church. But yeah, like I can't stop watching that video because of her voice, and then like there's this like break where the musicians just go off. Yeah. Ugh, it's nasty. So
I'm not send that to me then. Let me check it out. Let me check it out.
All right. So speaking of church, benediction.
All right, y'all. So, reflecting on what we talked about today, you might have to start. Yeah, I was like, you might because we done hit the 10. Yeah, reflecting on what we done talked about today, I'm gonna sum it all up by saying, one, people have harmed us in the past. People have harmed us in the past, and do they see the need to actually fix the harm? Absolutely not. And because of that, we lean heavily on our stars. We want them to step up. We desire, in our hearts, we want it. But truth be told, we can't put all our coins in even that basket.
That's right.
So with that being said, while they're spending money fighting to protect whatever they protecting, we need to spend our resources fighting to protect what we have. Mm-hmm. We need to use our coins in the right way, because if we don't use our coins in the right way, we're gonna get expedited from the bottom.
They're gonna be sending us back.
They're gonna be sending us somewhere else.
A new Liberia.
So let's look to new leadership for the future. And truth be told, it's in the everyday man, whether you are a corporate conservative, whatever, but you mean to do good for the people, that's important. Or if you like a regular old school hip hop artist, you know what I'm saying, from Cali, seeking to do some good, you know what I'm saying, find the leader in you and push it.
That's right.
So that's it.
All right. Well, that's episode 29. 29? 29. All right. We'll see y'all.
We'll see y'all next week. Peace and love, all y'all.
Thank you again, TikTok. We appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week for sure.
Peace.
All right.
Sunshine, sunshine, tell me where you are. 'Cause I need you to get me through my life.